Hello everyone! Magandang araw po and welcome back to QCAFE, your favorite online tambayan here at Muzen Core Consulting. Excited kami for today's episode because we have a very interesting person as our guest speaker for tonight. Ayan, sino nga ba ang ating guest speaker for this evening? He inspires individuals and teams by helping them discover and live their passion. He believes that everyone can win in life with their unique inner strength. Kumbaga, hashtag winner strengths ang kanyang motto in life. He has 30 years of exposure in the fields of human resources, recruitment, training, employee engagement, performance management, rewards and recognition, leadership development, internal communications, and marketing and customer service. Meron ding brand management, special events, advertising, promotions, media relations, customer loyalty, and corporate events. Whereas they have reputation management, corporate social responsibility, stakeholder engagement, sustainable development, gained from the academe, airline, financial, mining, and power industries. O, diba? His track records includes acquiring 1 million frequent flyer members 3 years ahead of schedule, transforming a sleeping giant in the credit card industry to make it into number one in just 5 years, reigniting corporate social responsibility practices for an organization to bag the nationwide Passion for Innovation Awards, and aiding a floundering nonprofit to win the International Gondar Josie Resilience Award. Back-to-back awards. On his first year of independent practice alone, he personally trained 500 participants who committed impact, reached over 10,000 coworkers and customers. His coaching clients from come from 6 continents. O, diba? So for tonight's topic, we will be talking about customer service. What are your customer needs and wants? And what are the keys for a great customer service? Eto na. So, let's welcome virtual po sa Musen Core.
Good morning, Kate. Good morning, everyone.
Ayan. Kamusta, Coach Apa? How are you today?
I am
Medyo
good.
malakas ulan ngayon eh.
Oo, pero don't worry, papainitin natin yung araw ng mga tao with customer service topics today, Kate. Thank you for the introduction. Medyo pinatanda mo ko doon, ha?
Nagkabistuhan po ba? Pero okay lang yan, Coach. Hindi halata. Anyway, Coach. So, feel free to take it away.
All right, sige. So today, guys, we're gonna talk about exuberant customer service. Alam natin, very important na topic to for everyone. But when you think of customer service, you always think of like restaurants or hotels, diba? Yung customers na we're facing retail customers. But if you belong to an organization na ang role mo is internal, meron ka rin mga internal customers. So this topic is really for you wherever you are in an organization. Okay ba yun? Now, I have a few slides that I want to share with you. Pero unang-una, gusto ko munang magpakilala, di ba? So, I have clients from 6 continents and meron ako mga insights from them that I'd like to share with you guys and I hope that's okay. Pero sabi nga ni Kate kanina during the introduction, I believe that everyone has a superpower. I believe everyone has a unique inner strength. And pag na-unleash natin yung inner strengths nyo na yan, you can win in life. Kaya nga hashtag winner strengths. Di ba? When we started off the topic, we talked about the word exuberance. And if you look up the definition of exuberance, it's really being happy. In fact, hindi lang siya happy, pero happy talaga siya. It's like blooming where we are planted, di ba? So, ang tanong ko sa inyo is, are you happy with what you are doing? That's a very important question. Are you happy with what you are doing? Kasi sometimes bumabaliktad po ang mundo. Similar to what happened in the recent pandemic, it even threatened the jobs of so many people in the customer service sector. And throughout this whole thing, may isip natin, pwede pa rin bang maging happy kahit baliktad na ang mundo natin? 'Di ba? Pag masungit na yung customer, pwede ka pa rin bang maging exuberant? Pag iba ang na-promote at hindi ikaw, pwede ka pa rin ba maging exuberant? Well, ladies and gentlemen, exuberance is a mindset. And you can look at your life that may sometimes be upside down and you can still appreciate it. This is at the very heart of customer service. Now, for you to have an exuberant customer service mindset, meron tayong tatlong pag-uusapan called disruptions, discoveries, and defining moments. So feel free to take note of all of these tips. And if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. We'll start with the first letter D of exuberant customer service, and that is called disruption. When you think about your experience, whether with internal or external customers, there's always going to be that sort of disruption. Sometimes things don't really go along how you planned it to go. Meron talaga tayong mga gulpi, de gulat na natatanggap, ng mga bulaga. So when you think about all those things that are not happening according to plan, you feel really disrupted. And mind you, when you are disrupted, sometimes ito yung trigger na mahirap mag-provide ng customer service, di ba? So whenever you experience disruptions in your day-to-day life, always remember that you have a choice to either disrupt or just be disrupted. Victim ka lang ba ng mga customers mo? Or will you be the person that will disrupt their lives? And by that, we don't mean sisirain natin yung buhay nila, but we're going to surprise and delight our customers, and that is what you call disruption. There will be things that are out of your control, but remember, you can still influence that. So for example, may mga bagay na kontrolado mo, like how you provide your service. But there are things that are not in your control, like perhaps how the back end is doing it. Let's say you're working in a restaurant, how the kitchen is preparing the meals. That's not within your control. But remember, you can still influence them by providing them feedback, right? Ganun din po yung customer. Hindi natin kontrolado how they will react. But we can influence how they will engage with us. So as customer service providers, let's remember, meron pa rin tayong makokontrol at yung hindi natin makokontrol, pwede nating i-influence. Right? So that's the first letter D of exuberant customer service. It's called disruptions. Next, we talk about another letter D, which is discoveries. So in the discoveries, pag-uusapan natin yung ibang mga na-pick up natin from global leaders about the industry and about what's happening all around us. And discoveries would also mean what you've discovered about yourself in providing your service to internal as well as external customers. So let's pause a little bit here and let's look at what are the needs ba of customers. Kasi sila naman yung reason kung bakit tayo gumigising, di ba? Kung bakit tayo pumapasok sa work. In fact, customers are really the lifeblood of any organization. And if we do not keep them satisfied or engaged, then they will find somebody else. So there are two things that customers need. Simply put, ito yung practical need at saka yung personal need. So practical needs, yan yung mga objectives nila that they need to be accomplished through an interaction. And then personal needs are the human needs that everyone brings to that interaction. So think about yourself as a customer as well. Let's say driving through a fast food chain, meron kang practical need and meron kang personal need. So, tignan natin yung difference ng dalawa. And according to DDI, practical needs, DDI is an organization that you can also look up in from their website, no? And you can take a screenshot of this because customers will need on the left the practical stuff from you. As a customer service agent or somebody in the customer service field, you need to help your customers reach their decision. Ano ba ang bibilhin nila? Pagka hindi available or let's say kailangan meron silang hindi nagustuhan, you are also going to help provide them a resolution to that conflict. And then you're going to help them approach kung paano ba nila makukuha yung gusto nila. And if there ever may mga changes yan, you're starting to book on airlines, may schedule changes, they have a practical need that they want you to help them with in planning for that change. Okay, on the right side naman, your customers also have the need to feel heard and understood. So huwag kayong nagmamadali sagutin ng customer. Pakinggan niyo muna sila because that's also a need of them to feel respected and valued. Importante lahat ng customer, no? And they also have a need to trust as well as being trusted. They want to be involved. Huwag niyo lang silang bibigyan ng decision and sabihin niyo kasi company policy po yan. Involve them in this discussion. And ultimately, they need you to support them there. So kahit sino sa atin, we are all customers and we can relate to both practical and personal needs. And in fact, the best organizations are able to provide 70% kasi yung decision ng customer, whether they're gonna talk to you again, it's really not just the product that they got, 30% lang ang rational thinking, pero 70% po yung emotional decision nung customer natin. And that brings us to the point that exuberant customer service is really a requirement in our organization and even in our daily lives. Now, Kate mentioned earlier that I am a Gallup certified strengths coach. So I would like to pitch this idea. What if you can provide exuberant customer service using your own strengths? So I know there's a lot of books, a lot of training when it comes to what a customer service provider needs. Pero tignan natin, ano ba ang internal sa'yo na power mo so that you can provide customer service. In fact, when you look at strengths versus just looking at weaknesses, mas maganda po ang buhay natin. We even have lifetime benefits just by focusing on strengths. And don't take my word for it, there was a longitudinal study of 25 years that was conducted by Gallup, and they discovered that people who focus on strengths actually have less health problems and they have higher income levels. I'm sure gusto niyo po yan, di ba? Gusto niyo not just for yourself but even for your children. So, pag-usapan natin ang strengths. According to Gallup, there are 34 different talents that any person can possess. So, pag tinanong kayo, ano kaya yung 34 talents ninyo? Pare-pareho tayong may talents na ganyan. Iba-iba lang ang sequence. Iba-iba lang ang intensity. At dahil sa differences ng intensity, magugulat kayo sa statistical figure na ito. You are not just one in a million, Kate. You are actually 1 in 295 trillion. Okay, this is scientific proof that there was no one born in the past, and no one is currently alive, and no one will be born in the future that's exactly like you. So, yung brand of customer service mo is entirely your own. How you provide your customer service is really up to your strengths. And when you dive deep into who you are, what your talents are, what you're motivated in, this will bring you to the final D of exuberant customer service, which we call defining moments. So ang goal po natin is not just to provide customer satisfaction. Simple lang yan eh. Ang kailangan talaga nating i-drive is customer engagement. Ito po yung kino-combine na natin yung both rational thinking brain ng customer natin and that emotional attachment to you and to your brand. This is when your company is able to provide even better service, not just the metrics, okay, but it solves even the deepest desires of your customers. When you use your strengths, you're able to increase engagement, it increases your revenue, it can increases customer ratings. And ito gusto natin, yung share of wallet. 'Di ba? Ikaw ang maaalala nila. And when your customers are engaged, they will be 2 to 3 times more likely to book with you again. Ayan, ang ganda niyan. Ano? According to Gallup, companies that deliver the highest levels of customer impact have 72% more fully engaged customers. Ang maganda po sa engagement is sila na po ang walking billboard ninyo. Di ba? Meron ba kayong mga brand na mahal kahit sa mga family gatherings, pag-uusapan niyo yan dahil maganda ang inyong experience sa kanila. So, if you want the outcome of a very good relationship with your customer, don't just focus on the behaviors that are required. Yung mga behaviors, yan po yung nakukuha natin sa training. But when you go into strengths, madidiscover ninyo that there are talents in you that will allow you to thrive. So from the beginning of your talents, when you invest in yourself, it becomes a day-to-day strength. At when you're living in the strength zone, masaya kayo. Your well-being is also going to be very high, and you're also going to be able to give your benefits to your organization. Tignan niyo yan, no? Ang taas ng lift when people are really engaged with defining who they are and what their talents are and providing that personal brand of exuberant customer service. So just to recap, there are 3 steps to exuberant customer service. Look at the disruptions. Huwag kayong magpapatinag. You can be the disruptor instead of just being the victim. Also, find out more about yourself. Discover who you are, what your talents are, and soar with your strengths. And that will bring you to your defining moments. And that's it at 14 minutes and 57 seconds. Kate, we're well on time. We're now going to go back to you for some of your questions.
Alright, ayan, grabe. So in fairness talaga, Coach Apa, no, while listening to your talk, I was like, oo nga, no? it was really an aha moment for me, especially when you talked about yung how your positivity would affect, 'di ba? Yung pag-handle mo sa mga customers mo and how talagang it really affects the relationship you built with them.
That's right.
Ayan. So, let's answer a bit of questions listed here.
Sige.
Let me just pull it out. Ayan. All right. For question number 1, it asks, do you agree with the statement? Oh my gosh, controversial to.
All right. Yes.
Customer is always right. O, di ba? Ito ang lagi. Na parang people are always using this to justify their actions, to justify whatever they want with the company. So, what are your take on this as a perspective of the person behind the counter? Paano
Mhm.
ba kapag tayo? And then naman, as a customer naman, paano? How do we really view this type of this phrase?
That's right. Now this phrase was actually developed early on, para 1980s pa lang yan. Before ka pinanganak, Kate. Customers are always right. There is a truth to it because
Mm-hmm.
customers are paying customers and they will tell you what they expect.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are customers who will tell you what they do not like. Ang
Yeah.
iiwasan natin yung customers that do not tell you and just walk away very quietly, and then they will talk to you or talk to
Right.
others about
Yes.
you behind your back. That's
Yes.
when your reputation is ruined. So pasalamatan natin yung mga customers na very vocal. Lalo dito sa Pilipinas, no, bihira yung mga nagsasalitang mga customers. Sasabihin nila, okay lang, pero yung pala hindi masaya. So, when they share with you anything that's controversial, na ito gusto ko, ito ina-expect ko, and sasabihan kanila na customer is always right, let's take it, positively. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
because we're gonna learn from them. We're gonna learn how to improve our service because of them. However, I also disagree with the statement. You know why? Customers sometimes
Mm-hmm.
do not really get the entire thing. So maybe, just maybe, they need to be informed. And that's why there's a
Yeah.
practical need of customers. Baka hindi lang nila naiintindihan ng terms and conditions, and therefore it is our role in customer service to guide them into understanding what the rules are. Now, let me remind you, don't just tell your customers na ito po yung rule, sundan lang natin to. Let's give them the rationale, let's help them understand, and let's help them and guide them to make the better decision. Huwag niyo silang bibigyan ng walang option. Always provide that option for them. And that way, customer plus you equals always right.
Grabe, ang ganda ng explanation na yun, Coach Apa, which is really true. Sometimes kasi, no, we as customers, we get so entitled din naman kasi we feel na we're spending eh. So if
Mhm.
we're spending, we need to get what we pay for, diba? The worth of what we pay for. Pero, yun nga, there are really ways on how we can explain services better. Kaya I feel, no, especially nowadays, no, Coach Apa, ang daming nagda-dive into businesses. Ang daming mga tao na
Correct.
biglang nagtatayo ng mga sarili nilang negosyo, maliit man yan o malaki. I really believe that customer service is the same, be it in a big company or in a small one. It's really all
That's
about
true.
satisfaction that you give to your customers, di ba?
Mhm.
Ayan. So, napakagandang sagot niyan. So, pwedeng-pwede na nating i-practice yan sa ating mga day-to-day sa businesses natin. I really hope our viewers who are listening right now or those of you who will be watching this on replay, please make sure naman na you have very clear grounds when it comes to different aspects of your services so that it would be easier, no, to explain your processes o kaya how you would handle kunwari if there are, you know, miss whatever in certain scenarios, 'di ba? Ayan. So we have our next question here. Sabi dito, how do you handle customers who are trying to provoke you? Ayan.
Ako,
Example,
madami yan. Sige, go
okay.
ahead.
Halimbawa po ganito, Coach Apa. Sometimes we have customers who are very knowledgeable of what they want or what they need. Therefore, they question naman tayo na nagpo-provide nung either product or service na yon kung alam ba talaga natin kung anong sinasabi natin. So, very provocative. O kaya minsan gusto lang nilang magpagaling. Gusto lang nilang patunayan na magaling sila. Or whatever, di ba? For whatever reason, how should we as people who provide these types of products and services, how do we handle customers like this na medyo nararamdaman natin na medyo may
Nakaka-rattle 'no, Kate? Nakaka-rattle yung mga ganyang customers.
true.
Kasi nga 'pag madami silang mga alam, 'di ba?
Mm,
Mahirap 'yan.
ito.
Now, babalikan natin yung personal and practical
Mm.
needs. When we are providing customer service, when our customer tells us something na nakaka-rattle sa atin, tanungin natin, what is the personal need of that person? He needs to be acknowledged. And you can say like, Kate, grabe, ang galing mo palang ano, no? You're such a master in this topic. Okay, you don't have to sound condescending, but that's helping you build that relationship to make that customer feel really good. Now, I've talked to a lot of different customers in my lifetime, including million milers, na talaga nakalog in ng 1 million miles flying on an airline. And clearly, they know much more than I do when it comes to the experience of flying. So when I was like 19 years old and I was talking to these people, the approach is always to be number one, what is the personal need? Is to thank that person for being invested in your organization and saying, thank you for all that information. Diba? That's one. Second, you look at their practical need. So go beyond what the person is saying, dive deeper and say, okay, so would you like me to do this for you? Would you like some clarification on that? I-offer mo sa kanila and ask them, ito po ba talaga ang kailangan ninyo? Hindi lang tayo bigay ng service. We have to be very sure what that person actually needs. Kasi practical needs is again 30% that rational decision of whether they will engage with you again, kailangan nyo rin sagutin yon. So, Kate, I think I have to overemphasize that the way you are rattled with your customers is whether or not you know your talents and you know yourself well. If you are confident about the kind of service you are providing, kahit makaharap ka ng customer na galit, you will always be able to handle that because you have the power in you to control how you do things and how you say things. Kaya niyo yan. Always remember you have
Oh,
the power in you.
and it really takes practice, no, Coach Apa. I mean, take this as an example, no, of to our viewers, no. The mere fact that Coach Apa has this type of aura, yung how he pronounces things, how he explains things. Kung ganyan ang kausap mo, kahit gaano ka ka-irate, magto-tone down ka. 'Di ba? Kasi sometimes there are attitudes na parang minimimic natin yung kaharap natin. Number one, as human nature, we feel threatened.
Mm.
So kunwari kapag sinisigawan ka na, wag mo ako sigawan. May mga
Mm.
ganun tayong responses. Whereas, kapag tayo, nandun nga tayo sa field na we're providing customer services, na tayo yung mas dapat umunawa. Kasi parang tayo yung nakakaunawa, di tayo na lang talaga.
That's right.
Diba?
And that's our role, no? That's the reason why we wake up. That's why we accepted a job for customer service. So
Mhm.
let's put into our minds that we are there to serve our customer. Now, is it okay, Kate, if I share with you one experience that I had
Sure.
that was
Yes.
really difficult, no? So I was working for an
Oh.
airline and my first job, wala pang mga call center, no? Hindi pa contact center yung tawag, wala pang call center sa Pilipinas. We had a reservation center for our airline.
Mm.
And merong mga tumatawag about flight disruption. So, syempre, galit yung mga yan. Merong nangyari no na talagang nag-overshoot ang isang airplane from a different airline na sarado ang NAIA International Airport. And walang may alam kung nasan yung mga pasahero. And this customer was really so irate kasi hindi ko ma-explain kung nasan na yung mga pasahero. Wala pa namang internet noon, wala pang
Yes.
cellphones. So nobody really knew. And everyone was in the dark. And you know what I said? I said, I'm sorry, sir, that you feel this way. Just to share with you my experience, my mother was also supposed to arrive yesterday, and I also don't know where she is. But this is my commitment to you. We will find your wife and we will get back to you. And I made a mental note. I wrote it down kung sino yung tatawagan ko and how I can call him back because that is what they need. Again, you go back to personal and practical. When you are providing customer service robotically, you will not provide information like that, right? Now, at that particular time, I was also emotionally rattled kasi yung nanay ko nawawala. So it was a nice way to tell the person, I know exactly how you feel,
Mm.
and this is
Yeah.
what we can do together. And
Yes.
amazingly, that customer actually felt really good about it. And we did
Mm.
find a solution eventually. So, guys, when you feel that the customer is so overbearing, listen to them, listen to what they're not saying, listen to their practical and personal needs, and answer that according to your own talent of how you can resolve customer issues.
Yes, that's so true. Minsan kasi, no, masyado nating inaatake yung sitwasyon based on kung paano siya dumating sa atin, na nabablind tayo sa options, how we can solve it pa. Kaya maganda din talaga to have trainings on customer services because this will really parang give you that needed boost, that needed refresher. Kasi minsan iba-iba din talaga yung proper ways on how to handle different types of people. And then, of course, there are also scenarios na talagang kailangan fully equipped ka. Kasi
Mhm.
there are different, sabi nga natin, di ba, iba-iba po talaga ang tao. Sometimes, hindi natin alam we are handling pala someone with a mental disorder. Iba din yon. Ibang paraan din yun ng pag-handle. Let's say, for example, in my line of customer service na experience ko naman before to handle someone na bata kasi, tapos medyo nagtatantrums, tapos ano pala, special child pala siya. So, syempre, iba din ang pag-handle ng ganong mga sitwasyon, di ba?
That's
Especially if you are
right.
in a closed establishment na maraming ibang taong pwedeng maapektuhan sa
That's right.
pagtatantrums and all that. So, there are really trainings fit for different situations. Kaya maganda talaga na we have refreshers for this type of things since we are in this type of industry. So, ayan. So, for our last question for tonight, no, Sir Coach Apa, how do you maintain your customers' loyalty? Ito naman, yung paano ba talaga? Kasi there are a lot of fish in the market, kumbaga. Maraming companies na kagaya ng company kunwari na represent natin. So, how do we really maintain the loyalty of our customers na bakit tayo ang paulit-ulit nilang pipiliin?
It's that brand of customer service that needs to be, and sabi mo nga, no, the training of customer service needs to be effective so that everyone in the organization has that level of customer service. The people facing the customers need to have a certain quality that all of them will exude. Now, that's one part of customer loyalty, how we deliver the service. Hindi naman pwedeng napaka-pleasant lang nating lahat, pero yung systems natin medyo palpak. So, in my experience, customer loyalty is one half how customer agents talk to them, and
Mhm.
the other half is really back end. So, if you have a system in place, make that work. If you can improve the processes internally, then that will equip your customer service agents to face your customer. I was at I'm very lucky, Kate, again, no, that I was at that point in the airline history na wala pang mga loyalty programs. In fact, the very first loyalty program in the Philippines for customers was that company of mine. So it's an airline again, and wala pang mga laking national card, wala pang mga ganong loyalty programs. Sinimulan na po namin 'yan. And it was really about equipping all the customer service agents to have information at their fingertips. So we created this system na talagang ma-equip ang customer service agent to know the customer before they even engage. So alam na natin some qualities of the customer before that person even talks to us. Preparation is key so that you know what kind of service you will provide. Next, you have to answer what their practical needs are. And babalik tayo, you deliver it in a personal way that will make them love you and want to get from you again. This
Yes.
whole scenario of customer loyalty is all about surprising and delighting your customers. Remember, there is one special thing you can do for that customer that will make that customer stay. It does not have to cost anything. Sometimes it's just a smile. Sometimes it's just a nice word that you can share with them. Make it your personal brand and add it to your organization's customer service mantra. And that personalization of your service will make you an amazing customer service agent. And always remember, this these skills that you are learning are going to be the things that you will then help other agents follow as well. So may matututunan ka, and one day ikaw na rin ang magtuturo sa iba.
Totoo. It's really a domino effect whenever you're in a corporation talaga, no. It's really what you teach others na yun yung magiging brand nyo, yun yung magiging culture, that's really how people will know you. Diba?
That's right.
Ay,
And on the flip side, Kate, before natin tapusin to, alalahanin natin we are now living in a world where everything we do can be put in a video and posted on social media. So I know you are representing an organization, but whenever you do anything wrong, it will be out on social media. This has the
yeah.
power to create or to break your brand. So,
This
having
is
said that,
true. And it
be very careful about how you deliver customer service.
and that's really true, no. This is a very good reminder, Coach Apa, kasi a lot of us are very, paano nga ba to, so we know naman how trolls work online, di ba? We know naman how they try to build and destroy other people. So now na meron na, parang personally ako on my social media, I try my best to, curate it in such a way na hindi kumbaga, kung meron man akong personal views and opinions, hindi dapat ito makakaapekto sa kung sino man yung organization or our companies that I work with. Kasi, syempre, di ba, we're working with other people. Hindi naman tayo island na mag-isa lang tayo doon, char. So, di ba, we need to be very careful of the image that we portray as well. So, right now, kasi talaga, no, with just a click of a button, a share of a photo, a reshare, a post, a screenshot, it can really, marami akong nakilala na natanggalan ng trabaho just because they posted something about a certain brand or a government, ganyan, mga comments na talagang libelous, mga ganong stuff.
Mm,
So really nowadays, no, we really need to think before we click. So yung
that's right.
yung responsibility na yan, yung social responsibility na yan, is dapat talagang i-practice natin. Kasi we are
Correct.
not ourselves anymore. We are who we represent as well.
That's
Ayan.
right.
So ayan, maraming salamat po, Coach Apo, for that very insightful session with you. I really hope our viewers here at Muzen Course Q Cafe enjoyed our session for tonight. And sana i-share nyo ang video na to sa mga nangangailangan na gusto pang matuto when it comes to, just a bit of what they need to know in customer service. I really that this episode is a very good introduction for those of you especially who have put up their business nowadays na kabubukas lang ninyo ng inyong mga negosyo. Magandang magkaroon kayo ng ganitong klaseng insight for you to start off your businesses with a proper customer service in mind. Ayan. So maraming salamat po ulit, Coach Apa, sa pagpapaunlak ng aming imbitasyon to be a speaker here at Muzen Core. And I really hope you get to join us again for a different session.
Sure.
Ayan. Thank you
You
po
know
once
how to
again.
reach me. Thank you
Ayan.
very much, Kate, and Muzen Core. Maraming salamat sa inyo.
Alright! So, magkita-kita po tayong muli sa susunod na episode natin dito sa Q Cafe. And we're excited dahil ang mga speakers natin for the rest of the year ay very exciting talaga at napakarami po naming hinanda para sa inyo. So, please stay tuned. Magkita-kita po tayong muli. Ninang Kate is signing out. Goodbye, everyone! See you next week! Bye!